Hey guys, welcome back to Hodge-Podge Garage. Today I am going to work on my drone, so stay tuned for this coming up. I'm going to put a gimbal on it, FPV camera, and we'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Don't forget, subscribe. So if you saw one of my last videos, I got this here. This is a Cheesron CX 20 Pathfinder, I think is what they're called. And that is the new drone. So what I'm doing now is right here I've attached a bracket, mounting bracket to the vibration dampeners, and I have a gimbal with my camera on there. So I'm going to wire this up. I've got my positive and negative. This is a 12-volt feed, and it just so happened to come with a little connector here. I just cut that off. I'm just going to tin the end of these and then solder those two together. That'll be my connection. That connects into the little port right down there to get the 12 volts. And then from there we've got, I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can get in here. There are the S1 and S2, which are at the top, and those are for the connectors to the actual receiver, so I can manipulate the pitch and roll of the gimbal. And then I've got my 12 volt outs down here, so those pins, the 12 volt positive and ground, is where I will connect this down into there. So let's see how this goes. I'm not going to video every bit of it, but hopefully we'll get this together. After that then I'll be working on wiring this little guy in. This is an FPV camera, so that's pretty cool. It comes with the transmitter already attached with an antenna. I'm going to mount that onto the quad as well, so I can have some FPV action with this and see where I'm going. I'm not yet sure if I'm going to mount this on the gimbal so I can actually point where I want to look, or if I'm going to mount this just as a fixed position on the quad itself so I can always see which way I'm facing without regard to the gimbal itself. In case there happens to be some kind of failure with the gimbal, I don't want the FPV like swinging around or pointing straight down. I want to be able to see where that is pointing to the head of the quad, so if I happen to be slightly out of view or if it's a little bit high, I can still see which direction I'm facing. So that'll be a fun little addition. Let's see how it goes. Alrighty, so I still haven't decided exactly where to mount this little guy. That's the little camera right there. And on the back it actually has some LED notification, or little LEDs, so you can see what channel it's on. So it's actually on E at the top and 1 at the bottom. So it's on channel E1, which would be band 2, channel 1, so 5705 is what I have it set on. I tried a few different ones, and that actually is pretty stinking clear. This is a camera through a camera, and it is pretty clear. There's not a whole lot. Let's see here if I can get this over here maybe, and then you can see my hand there. Oh, if I can get it without a glare, there is not a whole lot of lag. So that's really nice. There's, you know, maybe just a millisecond or two in lag there, so I can actually see quite well how it's moving, which is nice to know that, you know, if I'm flying over something and I hit left, I'm actually hitting left at the time I hit left, not a second later or whatever. So cool beans. Now I just got to figure out how to mount it up and where I want to do that. Alright, we now have her installed. We've got the gimbal there, and if you notice, I had to do an extension plate because the mounting plate for it was a little bit longer or wider, and it just didn't fit up there with this particular landing gear. So what I did is basically mounted this mounting plate on top of the other one. Now you can see with it on, if the drone is moving around, the gimbal is doing its job staying still. You can see from the side it stays nice and still. Okay, so that's one. I also did hook up both of my axes on here. As you can see, now it's tilting on the roll, I guess you would say. And then I can also do pitch, so I can angle the camera up and down. And that correlates with my receiver here. My pitch is here because I figure most of the time I'm just going to be doing pitch if I'm making any adjustments at all to where it's pointing. I shouldn't need to really do much on the roll unless I'm just making an adjustment to get it level after I take it off, and if there's any kind of change there in the way that it flies. So kind of cool beans. Next up is getting this guy set up. So this is my FPV monitor screen, and if I flip that bad boy on, you'll see there that is my screen. Obviously nothing is showing on it yet, so it's just white noise. But once I get my little FPV camera, which is hiding around here somewhere, this guy mounted, then that is what will transmit to my screen. So now I'm kind of throwing around the idea of mounting this somewhere on the gimbal, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of room for it. So I might just go right up here on the top of the drone itself, or maybe even right there at the top of the gimbal. But I'll have to play around with the field of view with this camera and make sure that this is going to be out of the field of view. I think it should be okay though. So neat stuff so far though. I'm pretty happy that I've got the gimbal on there. That's going to make for some nice video, nice and stabilized. On to the next step. Done. There she is. Alright, got the camera mounted up there. That's the FPV camera. And then my gimbal down here. The FPV camera. What I did was this came with, where is it? This came with a little camera holder like this. And so I just cut one of the pieces off right here. Made a little L bracket in there. Zip tied it in, hot glued it down, and now I can angle up and then side to side as well, and it's on there pretty good, so it's not going to be going anywhere. And as you can see, it's looking over at me here doing the video right now. So what's up guys? I'm excited to give this a try. Should be fun. That's there on my controller, and now I've got FPV and I got my gimbal. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get some footage up here soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, make cool shit. Later on.